lazy Sunday afternoons, Christmas films in July with you, the canon of Baltimore tales, our crafty looks when there's nothing to wear. Maybe it's the blessing of my 30s. I'm spending less time worrying and more time recounting the love. More time recounting the love. And I'm so thankful for my friends. I'm thankful for the love I share with my friends. I'm thankful for the love I share with my friends. I'm thankful for the love I share with my friends. I'm thankful for the love I share with my friends. Our fascination with Prosecco, the silly face you make when I say hello. I never understood your deep breaths till you came around and you just changed the way I left. This is the blessing of my 30s. I'm spending less time worrying and more time recounting the love. And I'm so thankful for my friends. I'm thankful for the love I share with my friends. I'm thankful for the love I share with my friends. I'm thankful for the love I share with my friends. I'm thankful for the love I share with my friends. I'm thankful for the love I share with my friends. I'm thankful for the love I share with my friends.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Emil Wilbekin, and I'm founder of Native Son, and we want to welcome you to our first ever Black Gay Love sessions. We're excited to have you here tonight. But before we start, I want to thank Serpent with Feet for his sharing that beautiful video with us. It really represents Black, gay, and queer love, and we're just grateful for his artistry, his vision, and his authenticity. As I mentioned, tonight is the first time that we've done Black Gay Love sessions. So tonight we're going to explore from dating to marriage and really look at and interrogate and celebrate intimacy, issues and intersections of Black gay love. You know, Black gay love and our social media platforms on Instagram specifically is the highest performing content week after week, year over year. Every Wednesday, our feed lights up when we show engagements, when we show couples embracing and kissing, and we show Black gay men getting married. And so it only made sense in this new year of 2021 that we would lean into that because we are living in such dark times. We're living in such chaos. I think that the world needs a little love. And so this is our pre-Valentine's event that we want to share with you. Native Son is named after James Baldwin and his seminal book, Notes of a Native Son. One of my favorite James Baldwin's quotes, which is actually not from Notes of a Native Son, it's from The Fire this time, is love takes off the mask that we wear we fear we cannot live without, and know we cannot live within. I use the word love here not merely in the personal sense, but as a state of being or a state of grace. Native Son is a community, a platform, and a movement that was created to inspire and empower and celebrate Black gay men. We host relevant conversations to accentuate the fact that we live in the intersection of our Blackness and our gayness. And what we focus on at Native Son is, how do we create community? How do we create fellowship? And how do we harness our collective powers? When we focus our lens closely on Native Son, we focus on three specific pillars. The first is wellness, which is HIV and AIDS, which is mental health and physical fitness from a mind, body, spirit perspective. We also focus then on empowerment, and that is professional development and mentorship. And our third pillar is amplification. Amplification for us means having a seat at the table, advocating for ourselves, and also our visibility. And certainly tonight, as we celebrate Black Gay Love, we are really focusing on our visibility, right? That we are able to be loved, that we're allowed to be loved, that we can be loved in a world that often dismisses us, erases us, ignores us, pushes us to the margins. But yet, we can be loved, and we can be in love with men that look like us, that walk like us, that talk like us, and that exist in this world. We are celebrating Black History Month this month, but I want to remind everyone that Native Son and all of us are Black history, because we've lived beyond the expectations of what racism, white supremacy, and homophobia have put on us. We have pushed past, and not only are we pushing past, we're thriving, we're striving, we're making history. We are the thought leaders. We are the social justice activists. We're the leaders in business. We are the leaders in media. We are the original influencers. And so if you would think about our tagline, it is our voice, our power, and our story. And so tonight, we're going to share all of those things with you. Please follow us at Native Son Now on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. And you can sign up for our newsletter at nativeson.us. And if you would like to support and donate to Native Son or join the James Baldwin Society, please do so at www.nativeson.us to support in advancing the work of Native Son. So I want to jump into the evening because I'm very excited about this. The community is very excited about this. If you see what's happening on social media, we love Black gay love. And so when curating this event, I thought, well, it's cute if I host it, but I'm single, so I might not be the right person. And I thought about, well, who would be perfect to host this evening? And immediately I thought of my friends, Jason Bolden and Adair Curtis. They are the creators of JSN Studios, and they do celebrity. Jason does celebrity styling for stars like Taraji P. Henson, Ava DuVernay, and Alicia Keys, Yara Shahidi, Cynthia Erivo, Trevor Noah, and most recently, Jason had the cover of Time magazine with Amanda Gorman, and that was beautiful, historical, and just shows the power of what Native Son does. They also have a thriving interior design business, and they do renovations and decor and all of that good stuff, which Adair leads. And I'm just really happy and excited. When they had their show Styling Hollywood on Netflix, it was such a seminal moment to me because it was the first time we were seeing a young, modern Black gay couple live in the flesh doing their thing, who actually work together. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome our hosts, Jason Bolden and Adair Curtis. Hi, guys.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm
How are
good.
you, Neil?
How are you?
Good. We're good. We can't complain. Just working like like maniacs.
No complaints at all.
No complaints.
Enjoying this this hot LA winter. So we have no complaints at all.
Oh, and see, I'm freezing in New York with like long johns.
No, we don't want that life anymore.
You know
Not
what?
anymore.
Well, thank you both for hosting tonight. And what was so great is when I reached out, I was, when you ask your friends to do stuff, right? You're like, okay. But what was great was that you all were like, well, we get to do the interviews, right? And I'm like, yes, please do it all, because you are actually living, breathing embodiments of Black gay love. And so I'm so grateful that you said yes. And the other thing that Adair's always one of the first people to like the Black gay love stories when they go up on Native Son now, which is so funny because you all are in LA. So I'm like, wow, he's really early. But I love that you
we're
love
a 5 a.m. household over here.
I know, because y'all busy. So just before we go in, I thought it'd be great. I mean, a lot of people know your story and follow you all on social. But just to go into your story a bit, I know some of this, but just bear with me. But what does Black gay love mean to you?
Wow. Black gay love to me is so personal. It means it's a part of who I am. I'm Black, I'm gay, I'm a man, and I love someone who looks like me, and that makes me feel validated in that, if I can just be my complete 100% authentic self, all the time,
Yes.
and express the way I would like to express all the time, that means I'm going to, express my Black gay love to the man that the man of my dreams, the man that I love. And it's of paramount importance to me.
I think for me, Black gay love is the music that we hear as Black people. It's always been so for I can speak for myself and Adair, the music that we call love, that we listen to on a daily basis, is something that I found to be the foundation of just Blackness. Like I think about, the idea of us, not even the idea, but the factual moments of us being put on the boat, getting here and finding some love in music. And I feel that there's some common ground with that when I think about Black gay love and finding that music and that rhythm and that dance that we had to create to find some safety and to find some us. So for me, that's what Black gay love means to me. It's finding this rhythm, this music that we get to dance to a lot, and being able to enjoy that. And it runs so deep and so way before us that I really kind of lean into that and enjoy that. So when I think of Black gay love, I think of that.
So I guess in this time of racial reckoning, right? We're going through so much in this country right now about identity. Why is it important? Why does representation matter for a Black gay couple to show up like the way you both show up? Strong, empowered, loving, positive, and just out there.
I think just also as creatives, right? I think, or just beyond being creatives, I think visuals are very important. Without having a visual, nobody gets an idea of hopes, aspirations, and dreams. Mm-hmm. So in this reckoning right now, it's being able to be so obvious of who you are, and to give a visual and give an example to people to hold on to and to hope and aspire and to be this aspirational yet obtainable moment when you think of the awakening that's happening right now. So the visual is very, very, very important. I know for myself, like if I didn't have a visual, I think my dreams would be a bit more distorted.
Mm-hmm. It's possibility, it's possibility. It's when I was coming up, I didn't have really many examples, in the media. We didn't really see, queer couples, out front. And if we did, they definitely weren't our complexion, skin color, have the same backgrounds. You know, our counterparts, on the other side of things are celebrated for just being. And so we want that opportunity
To just be.
just be.
Yeah, just be.
Just be.
Yeah. I mean, you think about on television, a lot of times you had every moment you think of like but allegedly Will and Grace was the thing that broke the mold for, being, openly happy, healthy, easy, wealthy, successful, and full of joy. But, never once did you ever experience that for someone that looked like us. So I think it's going back to what my husband said, it's the possibility. And now that there's a possibility to be so loud and to be so you, during this reckoning is fantastic. It's encouraging. And I hope that these things, make people want to be even louder about who they are.
Totally.
Right. Well, with that said, I am going to turn this over to you two to host this evening and do your thing. I am so grateful to y'all. Y'all don't even know.
Ooh.
Do you, be you, and let's explore and talk about and inspire and empower Black gay love. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, okay. So
Did you have to?
I'm like,
The heck?
and now it's our turn.
It's us.
It's us. So babe, what are we going to talk about tonight? And what do you want the key takeaways to be tonight?
I think we're going to talk about Black love. I don't think we are. I know we are. We're going to talk about Black love. We're going to talk about celebrating just being Black and just being and being in love. Let you be celebrating that with, your partner or on the journey of finding your partner. I think we're going to talk about that, the ups, the downs, the pluses and the minuses of it all. And what I want people to take away from tonight is the idea of hope. And the idea of love is waiting, and love is there. I really, really want to focus on being able to, let people know that it's never honestly what you think it looks like. Because what I thought love looked like is not.
What do you mean?
Well, I didn't think.
Love didn't look like me?
Well, it looked like you, but we have been trained to have this idea of what it looks like, this perfect thing.
Oh, I'm not perfect.
Stop it. This perfect thing that, that everyone in the world has painted towards you. But what's perfect for you is what's perfect for you. And what the world has painted is not, that's not your story. That's not your journey. So I want to be able to, have perfect takeaways of like, you will have, you deserve, and you shall enjoy all of that good, yummy stuff that love is about.
Totally. I'm also excited to talk with other he's silly, y'all. So I'm excited to talk to other couples and explore their love story, how they make it work, dig kind of deep into, just maybe some challenges they faced.
And I actually want to find out who's cooking, who's not cooking. Is it a thing that you should be?
Oh, like gender norms?
Not gender norms. I just want to know, it's like, are those are those kind of deal breakers? Or when you get in a relationship, did you find out that person was actually didn't know how to cook or did know how to cook? Like, I just want to know some of those quirks, because we all experience them. We all experience that. And I think that's the thing about, being able to love who you want to love. And I think that a lot of people have these ideas because you are queer and you love different. It's a whole nother way of how things work. And I want to be able to kind of like wash away that idea of like, we all love very similar and we all have the same kind of situations. Like, can you please pick your clothes up? Because
oh wow, we're doing that?
Are we doing or that? It's just like,
Are we doing that?
So I want to have some of those conversations too. I want to keep it light, and actually I want to laugh. It's like Emil said very early on, it's been dark. It's been dark. We've turned a corner and we have so much more work to do. But tonight I actually just want to laugh, and I want to be able to give these virtual hugs to people and give these virtual flowers while we have this time and opportunity.
Totally, babe.
Yeah.
Okay, so I am excited because up next we are going to have a conversation with Byron Jamal,
The love guru.
He's the founder of Mogul in the Making, and he's a best-selling author, and we are excited to have him and talk with him.
I know, because I got some questions.
Right. So, Byron, Mr. Jamal, where are you, sir?
Hey, hey.
Hey,
Hi.
hey.
Oh, you're
How
so
you doing, guys?
slippy. Look at your look. You're giving me
Well,
looks.
thank you. I
love
knew I was going to be
I
on
love
with
the
you
hat.
two, and there is no way I was going to be on with either one of you and not look right.
Well, I like to go on the record and just tell you that I just put this sweater on, so don't feel any pressure. I literally just.
Thank you for making it easier for me today.
No, you did all the fashion for us, so I support you in all your endeavors. I am so thrilled that we have the opportunity to have a proper sit down with you and you to share some of this amazing advice that you have studied and become. You have this tagline on your, before and after your name, the Love Guru.
You are the
So,
love guru.
I
Come
want to hear maybe what I possibly wasn't doing right or what I could do better.
Listen, because we can all improve.
Well, I love what
I
you were
don't know if I
saying
like what you just said.
earlier. I love what y'all were talking about earlier about expectations. Oh my God, that is so true. It made me think of a story that I heard about a man going to his family and going to his mom and saying, "Hey, I'm marrying Sally across the street." They were like, "Why are you marrying Sally across the street? She don't have no job." And then he told her dad, he told his dad, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm marrying Sally across the street." And dad was like, "Why are you marrying Sally across the street? She don't know how to dress."
Ooh.
And then he went to the uncle. Everybody got that uncle that want to put 2 cents in. And he went to the uncle, and the uncle was like, "Why are you marrying Sally? Her hair is messed up. Half of that is not even hers."
Ooh,
And then even a little brother was like, "Why are you marrying Sally? She don't know anything about anything." And he was like, "You know why I'm marrying Sally?" And everybody was like, "Why? Because she don't have no family." You know what I mean? Everybody has an opinion of why you should be with somebody and who you should be with and what the criteria is. Love doesn't have a criteria. It doesn't have a deadline. It doesn't have a timeline. It doesn't have a criteria. It doesn't have a certain look. It doesn't have a certain feel. All you know is when it hits you, it hits you. And when it's real, it's real.
That's it. That's it. Preach. Okay, so now I know why you do what you do.
That was
there.
good.
We go.
That little
If you
sound
need a
bite.
summary, that was it.
That was
it.
Sound bite.
You did it. You did it.
That.
Guru right here.
What to you, what is the definition of
a healthy relationship?
How would you define that? If I came to you and I was like, "Listen, I need to know, I gotta figure it out. Like, I just need some type of guidance." What is the definition? Like, lead me in a way, give me some gems that I can retell myself when I'm in those moments of struggle and questioning myself.
Absolutely. The first thing I would ask is not even about you. I wouldn't even ask about the relationship itself. I would say, how are you doing? Do you love yourself? Because if you don't love yourself, I already know that the relationship is messed up, because self-love defines any other relationship in your life. I know when people have struggles with any friendship, they're having struggles on their job, they're having struggles keeping up with people on the street, like they can't talk to anybody, there's self-love issues. So I really don't have to ask first about your relationship. If you come to me and say, "Hey, I need help," I'm gonna ask about you first. And I think that's what surprises most of my clients, because they're like, "Please help my partner get better." And I'm like, "Well, what's going on with you?"
So self-help is the first key to defining love, because you have to love yourself in order to love someone else. I guess the whole saying is like, you don't know, like you can't, how can you possibly love someone if you don't actually know how to love the person that you're with every day, which is yourself?
Think about that. I mean, so I liken it to if someone has 10 love to give you, 10 level love, right?
Okay.
10 level love to give you, and your self-love is at a 5. Then you can only give them a 5, but you can only receive a 5. So that means that even if they're trying to give you 10, you will only either one, interpret their 10 as a 5, or you will not know how to handle the rest of the 5.
Well,
And
that's
so
wow.
that's
a
the
lot
word. You saw how my husband just looked at me? He was like, baby, I think you might be at a 5. Like, what?
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
That's
Don't put words in my
deep.
mouth.
That's actually deep. So
It's real, though.
I love how everything goes back to taking care of yourself and checking in with yourself. I love that, like, you reroute it every time. Like, we'll talk about that. We'll touch those things. But how are you? Like,
How are you?
And how are
Yeah,
you relating to you?
Why
You
better
are
talk
in
that.
control of your own joy. You are in nobody has any power over your joy. You make a decision to let something impact you. Two people can deal with the same situation, and one person can still be joyful and the other person can be completely depressed. It is how you handle it, and that is completely in your control.
I mean, we can
I kind
talk.
of feel like you're describing our relationship.
I'm like, we touched
This is
on
what
it.
I do.
We
Okay.
could go right.
No,
we
but it's
touched
really
on it. We could
bizarre
go
because
about
I mean, for me, like, I am in our relationship, like, just me as a human, period. I only truly, honestly care about the things that I really, really care about, and everything else is kind of like you know, it's like a leaf in the wind.
Yes.
But when things happen between myself and Adair, like if we have like some turbulence or hiccup, I'm like devastated. I'm like because it's like I care so much and I'm so invested, and I care so much, and then when things happen, I'm like, oh my god, like, oh, this is the worst. Oh my god, I feel like they just stripped everything from under my feet. And then Adair is just more like, no, it'll be fine, like whatever. And I'm like, I need for you to have a panic attack.
Yeah, because the
What's
difference
happening here,
the
so-
difference between how we handle things and how we process. I mean, our love languages are different. I mean, we could not be more opposite. We are
we're very
very opposite. We don't do things the same. If we hit some turbulence, which happens, you know, in every relationship, I know it's going to be fine because one, I ground myself. You know, I ground myself first.
Yes.
That's first and foremost. Check in with myself. I ground myself, and then after grounding myself, you know, I think through how I contributed to a particular situation, a scenario, and I take responsibility for my contribution. Right. And so, you know, we've had to learn to do that together.
Yeah.
Or else we just be in a circle, in a cycle of, you know, mess up after mess up or turbulence after turbulence.
Yes.
Yeah. So there you have. I mean, Byron. I mean, thank you for making this a therapy session. I thought we were just going to talk about other people's problems, but I guess we're going to talk about ours. So, speaking of problems,
yes,
what are some healthy relationships? Well, like in healthy relationships and unhealthy expectations, and what, like, can we talk about like some of the pros and cons of like obviously the pros are like whatever, and the cons are the unhealthy expectations in a relationship. Can you lean into that, or do you want me to kind of tell you some of my? So you see, I just try to make this fair.
I mean, if we got a few minutes, I think if you need something personalized, I think I can help.
So, but I mean, can we talk about that? Because I know for myself that when, you know, we all have these ideas and these expectations, and I think it's normal to have these expectations, and sometimes you need somebody to curb them and say, those are kind of unhealthy and not.
So let's talk about them. We all have an expectation, right? I said this to a client just today. I was like, okay, you want them to do something, but how upset do you get when it rains? You know, and you planned a beautiful picnic. How upset do you get at the rain? Do you get upset at the rain? Do you get upset at God? Do you get upset at yourself because you planned it on a day when it was raining? What is your mindset there? As upset as you get at the rain, that's upset as you should get at somebody else for not doing what you expected them to do. As much as you want to plan in life, as much as you have an expectation of what they are going to do, people are just like weather. You can try to predict it, but every weather person knows that things can change. You have to have a expectation where you can plan in life, but you also have to have a realistic settling in yourself that says, I can adjust if it doesn't happen the way I expect. And that's what missing. We don't have the understanding that it's okay to adjust. I can take my picnic inside. I can put up, do whatever I got to do to readjust. If you're running behind schedule and you haven't gotten your clothes ready, there's no reason for me to argue. Arguing is not going to make you move faster. So what I can do is adjust. Do you want me to meet you there? Do you want me to help you pick out something? Do you want me to help you iron something? See, these are things. I forgot to cook. I forgot to pick up the milk today. Okay, well, let's see what we can do as a substitute. We can find something else. We can make a run. We can get a delivery, whatever it's about adjusting to the weather of our lives. And when you do that, your expectations become something that's not a hindrance, but something that you can build on. See, it's okay to have an expectation because that's how you build on things. You expect to be happy today. So you get up and you plan and you want to prosper. So you do all the things you have to do. But when things don't happen the way you want them to, you get bad news, you adjust. And being able to adjust is how you keep your joy high in the midst of expectation. Remember, you will never get everything you want in life, because if you got everything you wanted in life, somebody else wouldn't get what they wanted. So you got to be able to give up some in your life so that others can receive too.
I mean, Byron, I love how you make it just very easy to learn, and you broke it down in the most basic way that we can all understand. And it was weather. It was so simple, and it's the weather. And like as you were talking about that, I was thinking, I'm like, wow, like there's days when you wake up and there things like that happen, but like what do you do? You adjust, you figure it out. Like you figure it out. You put your raincoat on, you put your galoshes on, and you pump through, right?
Question for you though. So
Yeah.
what happens when you don't adjust, right? When you're too rigid, when you can't get over the fact that things didn't go the way that you planned.
Absolutely. That's great. What you do is just like that person who's scheduled that picnic and if you're in Atlanta at Piedmont Park at 12 o'clock noon, you go out there and you get wet and you eat your soggy food and you drink your watered down drinks, because you can either sit in it or you can adjust. See, that's really the only two options. Either you can deal with the negative consequences of you not adjusting, or you can adjust and get a better outcome than sitting in the thing that you're upset about. So what we'll do often is just sit in it and be mad and sour and wet and wet. There's a story about that. There's a story about a dog that's walking across a bridge and he has a bone in his mouth. And when he gets halfway across the bridge, he looks over and he sees his reflection. He doesn't know it's his reflection. He thinks it's another dog with another bone and he wants it. He's like, I'm gonna get that other bone, right? So he jumps into the water after the dog and the bone, but he loses his bone in the process. So now when he gets to shore, he has two options. He can be bitter that he got wet, or he can feel blessed that he learned a lesson. And many of us don't find the blessing in change. Many of us don't find the blessing in the lesson of learning something. We learn something about our partner. We learn something about ourselves. We learn a lesson when things don't go our way. And if you can find it, you'll find more of the blessing in it than what we would say the curse of it.
Oh my God, that was amazing. Wow. That was a great way to wrap that all up, is to find the blessing in all of it. That way you can see yourself, you can see how you're going to get to the other side. Right. Well, we are beyond grateful, beyond grateful. And I'm so glad that we got to know you and also put a face with the name and a face with the story and a face with the Love Guru.
Byron, this will not be our last time speaking with you, my brother.
I look forward to it.
We appreciate you today. We're gonna move on and into a Black Gay Love montage video after this, and we can't wait to connect with you again.
It's a pleasure to meet you both. I'm so proud of the work you've done. Grateful for your example on TV, and just keep doing it, brothers. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. We appreciate you.
Enjoy it all. Enjoy this video coming up.
Your love, you need to look no further. You know that. Don't you know that? After my love, you'll never need another. Don't you know that? Don't you know that? I don't make no promises I can't keep, and I promise myself that I love you forever. How many times must I say that for you to understand that I love you? Yes, don't you know that I love you? So, baby, don't you know that? Don't you know that? Without a doubt, the sweetest inspiration. Don't you know that? Don't you know that? I'm always down for anything that you say. Don't you know that? Don't you know that? I used to doubt everyone that I'd meet. I swore that nobody could knock me off my feet, but you are the one that makes my heart bell ring. That's why I know that this is the real thing. Don't you know that I love you? Don't you know that I love you? Yeah. Don't you know that I love you? Don't you know that I do? Don't you know I love? Don't you know? I know that.
Hi,
I'm texting.
we are back.
And we're back.
And I hope you guys enjoyed that imagery. I loved it. It goes back to what I've been talking about, imagery and how important it is. And you know, it's for a very long time you couldn't search that on Instagram, and then grateful for Native Son to be able to put that in the forefront. So this is really, really exciting, and I am so thrilled to see so many, because in a lot of cases you don't get to see as much, because they meaning the planet, a lot of times seems to only feature people who don't look like us. So
Totally.
that was really, really impressive and
And beautiful, really beautiful. Emil said something earlier today, and that whenever a couple goes up on the Native Son channel, I'm one of the first to like, and that really is because I love, and I like seeing us. I like seeing representation of us everywhere, you know, in every possible, you know, on every possible platform in real life and on all the platforms. So that was beautiful.
That was great. The idea of showing love is what this whole night is about, and that montage was one of the best ways to put it. It's just showing the range of the beauty and the joy and the happiness, and you know, and what's possible. I think that's really, really important, and grateful again for everyone who allows Native Son to, you know, take their imagery and be able to push it to the planet. So grateful for that.
Yes.
So here we have a little bit more coming up. We're gonna have a couples conversation.
This is my favorite part.
We're gonna have two couples join us, and we're going to talk about some of those amazing things, like how do you keep it sexy? How did y'all meet? Hard parts about a relationship. Does he sometimes actually use my toothbrush and I'm like, what?
That is
You
not
know,
true.
so things like, but I've used yours before. But so we're gonna talk about things like that. So I can't wait to kind of dig in and have hopefully everybody's at home laughing and cheering us all on, and because we're gonna be doing the exact same thing here. So let's try to get everybody in so we can have these great epic conversations.
Hey!
Hi.
Hi! How are you guys?
We're good. You're good. How are
Good.
you?
We're so excited to talk with you.
Likewise.
I love this range of blackness. I love it. I love all this sun-kissed skin. I'm loving all of this. I'm loving
And we
it.
love you all.
Oh,
Thank
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so can you guys introduce yourselves and tell us and the audience watching how long you've been together?
What'd you say? Tell me everything.
I think I just had wait, we've been in
A
the
moment.
space together.
I
Yeah.
feel like we've met, right?
Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. So I'm George,
I'm Rudolph.
and we've been together. This year is 20 years. And we were married on 10/10/10
Wow.
Whoa.
We just completed 10 years.
of marriage.
Wow.
The legal
Wow.
Bliss.
Bliss.
Marriage
Most-
bliss.
Wow.
Congratulations, guys.
Oh my
Wow.
God.
That's incredible. You are unicorns.
I love that. Tell us about tell everybody who's watching your situation.
Sure. So I'm Kenneth. This is Jay Maurice. We've been together. It'll be 7 years this year. And we've been
7 or 8?
Ooh.
7.
Jim Maurice, you might be me. You're me.
I know I am. Okay.
7.
Okay.
And we've been married for 4. This will be year 5. We got married, and we also got married 10/8. So we must have picked the same weekend. Just
President's Day.
The weather usually good.
That's so funny. Well,
Wow.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna let Adair say our stuff because I have to remember. Go ahead and say it. So
We've been together for 10 years. Actually, this is our 11th year that we just entered into in 2021. And we've been married for 9 years in August. So yeah, August will be 9 years. we've been
Nice.
married. Yep. And every year, if Jason can agree, every year it gets better.
yeah,
It just gets better and better and better. And we get closer and closer and fall deeper and deeper in love. And we also know how to deal with the issues that come up a lot better.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Wait, Randolph, you look like you're about to say
Rudolph,
something.
Rudolph.
I was going to say, except when you get yelled at for not listening to guidance, instruction he gave me yesterday for a Peloton bike we arrived yesterday. And of course, this morning I got stuck. And I was being
Wait a minute.
yelled at.
This is so
And I'm
funny.
like,
I just
"Ah,
today I got
to do
the.
this. I told you to do this, to read this, to get ready. And of course, I was not ready.
See?
That's so funny because today I got confirmation that my Peloton bike is coming. So no, I think that's really. I think listening is hard. I think it's really hard
For some people.
Well, ultimately, we're all just singular. You know what I mean? You are your singular person, right? So sometimes it is very hard. Even going on these 11 years, I sometimes don't really listen because I'm moving. I'm actually moving for me sometimes, and I do lightly forget that if I do something a bit rapid versus taking a moment to think like, oh, Adair did say this, but sometimes I'm just doing things to just get through it. So that gets tricky. But I feel like I'm very easygoing about that.
All right, we're going to come back to that. We're going to come back to that because I really want to dig into how you guys met. And a lot of people know our story. We can share a little bit, but I would love to hear from you about how you met and when you knew this was the one.
Ooh.
So we met on Christian Mingle.
I was like, wait.
Word. I love that.
No, I'm joking.
I love that.
No.
We met in DC around in 2014. It was just a chance encounter on social media. that turned into like us talking all day, like literally all day and all night. And then the next day, or was it the same day?
You mean dinner?
We went to dinner that
We went
night.
to dinner.
Yeah.
So we met, and then we've never been apart. But I mean, that's great. We've never been apart. But yeah, we met, we hit it off, and we one date went into the next, and we were spending so much time. I was like, well, you might as well just stay.
Yeah, 30 days later. Yeah, 30 days later, I moved in, and
Are you serious?
yeah,
30 days. Wait,
Yeah.
you guys beat us.
You guys definitely beat us.
But it was one of those things, because when you ask the question, like, when did you know? Like, I knew the night we left dinner, that first night, and we were crossing the street, crossing U Street, and we had a great conversation at dinner, and I forget what I asked when we were crossing the street, and whatever his response was, I just knew. I never had that feeling before, so I knew that it was it. And then it just kind of went from there.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Wow.
I'm thinking about the fact that this time 20 years ago,
That's right.
we were in Puerto Rico, and we had just met. So our first date was December 1st, World AIDS Day of 2001. And we met like just a couple of days before. So I'm at a restaurant. We cruised each other, finally got up and talked to each other. We could tell the longer story on that, but that's not as interesting.
I love it.
But it was, I mean, it was actually really quite sweet. We kind of locked eyes, and our friends were like, okay, either
You stay with us at our table, or you guys
get up and
Get
go
out and
do
talk to
something
each other.
else, because
I
you're
love
clearly
it. What were you eating?
The restaurant was actually out of business now.
Banana Cafe.
Yeah, it was a Cuban restaurant on Capitol Hill.
Okay.
So it was just a couple of days after my birthday. But the reason I mentioned Valentine's Day is because we, so from that December 1st up to Valentine's Day, or at least up until that point, we had started going, okay, this like actually might be something. And it just kept building on itself. We said, hey, let's go to Puerto Rico for Valentine's Day. And
Well, actually, we wanted to go to Costa Rica, San Jose.
oh, that's exactly right.
And then went and made the reservation. And I looked up the reservation at some point, and I said, wait a minute. This is not San Jose, Costa Rica. It's San Jose, California.
And we've gotten this really good deal, but
We were able to repeat it and go.
The next to this is my husband travels quite a. If it weren't COVID, it's 50% of his time he's out of the country. He does international health, and so he's always like the one to make reservations. He's paying attention to the tickets, we're going to sit in, where we're going. Although on this flight, I have to tell you,
Oh, no.
on our first trip together,
No.
I sat in the back of the plane, and somebody was in business on the first trip.
No.
Yeah,
No.
we
We're still together.
We did.
Oh my
It'd be like
It
that.
was a
made it.
funny connection story, but alas, so that was a
But on
lesson.
the return, we're sitting next to each other.
Good.
Because she was like, this the one.
But that Valentine's Day actually was when I might have had more than one drink.
One of the few times.
Yeah, because I'm not
in
a
his life,
drinker.
20 years.
And so I think I confessed love when we were in Puerto Rico.
We were sitting on a fence, a low-grade fence, and we were coming up from a hotel where that's where the stars go. Like this is Naomi Campbell, that's where she used to go. So on the way up, just talking, and he's slightly, a little
Happy.
and then he said something. I said, "Well, that's good."
No, it was interesting too, because when you think about it, he'd actually said "I love you" earlier than that, and a friend said, "Okay, that's way too early. Run the other way. Might be crazy." But
Won't friends give us the wrong advice sometimes?
All the time.
People be like,
Right.
people by experience, and there are times, when it's true that we see people that get together and make life decisions together very early without even thinking, and it doesn't work. Like you guys, a month after that, you guys
Made
met,
it work.
and you made it work. Here you are.
Made it work.
So
Yeah. Jason proposed to me. I met Jason in Feb. You did.
Sir,
You did. You did.
Tell me this.
You did. You should be proud of that.
I know, but it's fine.
Yeah, that means you have good taste.
It's really fine. Adair and I actually met. Our story was very interesting because we were supposed to meet for business. And our barber was like, "Oh, you guys need to meet each other, whatever." Long story short, Adair and I meet, and there was no connection. There was none of that there. Like none of that.
I actually did not like him.
Yeah.
I thought he was a complete,
Yeah.
so
So
won't say the word.
long story short, we were there, and before you know it, we were there for probably like 5 hours or something like that. And drinks were flowing, and I really felt like George that night. I was drinking a lot, and and then
Not a lot. It just took a couple for me.
oh well, I probably had a bottle of vodka
Himself.
But so long story short, like we leave, we're completely inebriated. Me probably more than him. And then I asked Adair what he was doing this weekend, and then he said he had to work. And then that following Sunday, we went to dinner, and we've kind of had that.
We were together
since then. We've been together since then.
Yeah. He told his friend it was his birthday, and I get to the birthday party late on purpose.
and
I come alone.
Under the influence.
And so when I get there, he has all of his friends surrounding him, and he's like, "Booski!" And I'm like, he's like, "Take your coat off. Everyone wants to meet you." And I'm like, "Okay." I met him last week, by the way. The week before.
Wow.
Right.
When you know, right?
When you know, I guess. And he's like, "Everybody, this is such and such, this and such and such. This is my boyfriend, Adair." And I'm like, hi, everybody. And then I ended up seeing someone I knew, and he's like, "Adair? Like, are you dating Jason?" And I'm like, "I think so." I think so, and yeah, we've been together.
We've been together ever since. But how I always talk about how I knew. Adair's never he doesn't really say how he knew. So I think this is a great opportunity to share with these people. How did you know?
It became really crystal clear for me very early that Jason was serious. He was serious about me, and
I did baddie. It's like
I didn't want to spend any time with anyone else, to the point that, and not immediately, but at some point, I even rearranged my work life to accommodate our relationship. We moved closer to my office, and I started scheduling myself large chunks of time at home to do meetings on the phone. There was no COVID, there was no pandemic. I just wanted to spend every moment with him, and wherever he was, that's what we did. And it worked. Thank God.
Well, that's our story, guys, and that's your story, and I hope you guys all like it. And
We love
kind
it.
of like it kind of pretty much all sounds the same. And I keep saying, like, I want to kind of break that idea that queer and gay love stories are whatever way that this planet has decided to put on us, but it all stems from a place of like finding someone that you match up with, and it just feels really good, and you can't see tomorrow without them. So I really want to always push that initiative that like it is the same. It is the same. There's nothing different at all about it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about what's the best part of a relationship
or your relationship with your partner.
With your partners. Who wants to go first?
You didn't have an answer.
yeah, Georgia and I, we are very different. He is African American. I'm from Haiti. Raised under different cultural experience, very different. And he is religious. He's an ordained minister. I'm not.
Wow.
I'm not even religious. So you can imagine the accommodations that we need to do. And when I say we need to do, actually, that's a wrong word because it feels like we work on it. No, we just agree that there are certain things that are very important for him. So I respect that. And there are things that are important for me. And he respects that. So I think, that's
mutual respect.
Is paramount to that. So I'll let you add some more.
No, it's interesting because our first date was, December 1st, and it was actually after church for me. And it was also First Communion, Sunday. as well as the fact that because it was World AIDS Day, or is World AIDS Day, it was important at the time. He was doing more HIV/AIDS work, not domestically, but that was a big part of his portfolio. That was very conscious to us. I think the fact that we both had a wanted to do well in the world was important, and that was a value that didn't have to be attached. I mean, I've always been very progressive. That shouldn't be an obvious, but for me in my life, it was. And I've always thought about my religion as being an informant to how I wanted to see the world, but it wasn't myopic. It was much broader than that. I knew I mean, my first job after the Peace Corps was with an interfaith organization. So I always had a sense of the world being bigger than just my experiences. And I think he amplified that. It was, meeting someone who, we talk about Blackness and Black love. One of the things we were talking about before we got on was just like our perspectives are different. I never will forget. We were when Obama was running against Hillary. This is years ago. I was a big Obama. I was actually an appointee and was a big in the tank. And at one point, I remember Rudolph saying, well, I'm still thinking about Hillary, and I was horrified. And, literally like breakup kind of horrified. Like, how can you possibly, it wasn't he was saying he was going to vote for the Republican. It was just he was about to do this. And we were talking about it, and I said, what it would mean to have a Black man as president. And he said to me very matter-of-factly, and if you know him, my friends who are watching will appreciate this. He says, well, we've always had Black presidents in my country. That's not necessarily the rule.
Wow.
And I went, right.
Wow. It clicked.
Right. You're absolutely right.
Yep.
So there are different ways that this will show up for us. And I think we're very respectful of that. I mean, I've learned a lot. I'd love to blame it on his age, and he's so much older than me.
I couldn't get off the bike this morning. So there.
But it's not that. Like, I mean, he just has.
I'm going to stop. Hold it 5 seconds. Keep going.
No,
You
guys.
hear from you guys. Yeah.
Oh, from us.
Yeah, you guys.
Yes. No, I think for us, it is like for me, it's being a parent, right? That's
the best part of our relationship.
Yeah, I mean, like it's a major part of our relationship. I think
Wait, parents?
Yeah.
Wait, so who's a parent? You guys are
We both are. Yeah.
No way.
Come here.
What?
Yeah. Say hello.
Hi.
Oh,
And you come here.
oh my God, one.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Wait.
Oh my
Hi.
God.
Hey.
This is magical.
This is
Hi.
magic.
So yeah, I think so you haven't so I think for us, you can say goodbye now. No, so I think for me, it is like that, right? That's the best part of like our relationship. I think before kids, my answer probably would have been different, right? But now for me, like that is the best part of our relationship. It causes us to communicate more. It brings us closer. It does a lot. I mean, right?
You guys are dads. Wow.
Right. Yeah.
That is so important
That's
too.
amazing.
Yeah,
That shocked me.
I think on the other side of that, it's interesting. At some point, my father, from 2010 to 2013, was living with us. Rudolph's mom had been living with us already. In 2006, she came to live with us.
5 or 6.
Yeah, something like that. So I had my dad in the house and his mom in the house. We had Abe's, and we had like this whole ritual around caregiving. So when I saw you and your kids, I was thinking, and people used to say to us all the time, they joke with us and say, you should be a comedy show or you should be a sitcom because, how you have to manage all of this. And I was like, well, in some ways, or do you want to be a parent? That was the other question.
Wow.
Because we've been married a long time. So people, immediately thought, okay, we bought a house, all these other things. You kind of like, oh, surely you're setting up to have a bunch of kids. And, but we got a lot of those kinds of experiences, and it's certainly not the same, obviously.
Wow.
But
That's amazing.
I mean, my father ultimately passed with living with us, and his mom is still living, and her birthday is actually Sunday. So it's just been such a gift to see how those external relationships, also primary, become so important. So
Right.
really, hands up on the kids, because I mean, I think it's just a huge commitment.
That's amazing. I mean, and speaking of commitments and so much that you have to do, and just in the world that we're in, we have so many responsibilities. I have a question, which is, how do you keep it sexy in the midst of it all? Like, how do you keep it sexy?
I don't know. I think my so what?
I'm like, you don't know.
I'm like,
I
oh,
love the drink. I love the drink to that.
One of the things that I think while kids are a highlight of our relationship, I think the other piece is having to be intentional about finding time to spend with each other, just the two of us. And I don't think everybody subscribes to this, but I think our relationship has to be the primary one.
Totally.
And our kids are if we're not strong, then we can't be the best for them. And so for us, it's really trying to be intentional about having date nights. And so pre-COVID, it was okay, we're gonna make it a point every Thursday we're going out and we're having a date, or maybe the kids go to bed early and we order in dinner or something like that. But I think it's, for me, keeping it sexy is continuing to find ways to spend time alone together.
And doing those physical things too, right? Going to bed, not, that's how you do it. No.
Well, that too, but.
No, it's the things I don't know, just walking around and being sexy, wearing nice little fitted jeans or something, and those types of things, that's a way of keeping it sexy.
I love that you were walk around here in those tight jeans. I mean, that's easy. I think we all can do that. That's good.
Rudolph, what about you guys?
We had a moment, and we had a delivery, and so Rudolph was helping with the delivery, and he was bent down in a way that I could see what his underwear, and I really, and he knows that these.
You didn't rip them off. So.
And the people were in the house. That would have been real inappropriate.
Right.
All masked up and what have you. But it was like a moment of real sexy.
See, that's what I'm talking about. The little things like that, seeing your partner, dress down to get ready to get dressed to go out somewhere. Those types of things.
How do we?
And we shower together.
We do.
Adara hates showering together, guys.
No, it's not that I don't like showering together. I don't like showering together in this house.
He feels like he gets.
I'm cold. I'm getting cold. We need to build a shower. We have 2 shower heads.
See, I'm not a big shower together person either. Last time we showered together was
our
first
day we met.
No.
Oh, that's true.
No, it was at our wedding ring. Right after the wedding. Yeah,
that's true.
Love that. See, this is what I'm talking about. For me, this is the thing that I want to be able to expose. This laughter, this the realness, the trueness of what it's about. And I really wanted to expose that and share that with everyone to let them see it's not as bad as people try to make it.
Not at all.
I'm having a great time.
Right.
So all in all,
we could talk to you guys all night. One of the things that we love is we keep ourselves surrounded by very strong, couples, however they come together, however they look, we are surrounded by really strong couples, and we could talk to you all night. Native Son would kill us if we didn't keep the program going. So we are going to say goodbye, but hoping this is not the last time we have conversations with you guys, and we will reach out.
Yeah, we would love to reach out. Truly, truly, truly love to reach out.
Most definitely. Likewise.
Definitely.
Thank you so much for holding this session. We appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thank you for sharing.
Jay Maurice. Now we'll finish.
Yeah,
up.
we need to connect. I need to come over there. We're in the same city, so I'll see you.
We'll bring the kids.
Awesome, you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.
See you soon.
Bye.
Take care, guys.
Take care.
Okay. That just gave me my whole entire life. That's like when you have a dream and the dream comes true, to have these amazing couples, right, who are at different stages in their lives. And all my friends were like telling me like, thank you, thank you, thank you. And it's true, like that's the thing about Native Son, like we are showing people what possibilities look like. 10 years, 8 years, 6 years. It's possible, y'all. Now we got to do some internal work on ourselves so that we can get there. But a lot of this is really simple. So thank you all. 3 beautiful couples. I'm so grateful. Like that was amazing. I'm really, really excited. I want to bring up next one of my new friends, Elijah McKinnon. Elijah is the executive director at OTV. They are an activist, they are a filmmaker, they are non-binary, and let me tell you something. I met them a few years ago. Hey.
Hi.
And we were in South Africa, and we were there for Afropunk. They were doing what's it called, a
film race. Yeah, like a film competition.
Partners on that. But then we got to hang out in Johannesburg, and then we both ended up in Cape Town, and we had the most dreamy von dreamy lunch in Cape Town at the beach with the most incredible seafood, and we walked around on the beach, and it was just really, really beautiful. And then the world started to burn on fire and go upside down. But the other day, Elijah and I were having a conversation about how Native Son and OTV could partner. And we got into this conversation about kind of non-binary love and relationships. And so I said, we should be taping this. Like it was one of those conversations. I was like, this should be an IG Live. And it's like, oh my God, we're doing this conversation. Please come on. Well, what was even better is that Elijah just finished their first feature film. So would you please just tell everybody about you and your background, and especially the non-binary part, because we had a whole conversation about that. And then I want to show the trailer, but let's start with you and what you do and who you are in this world.
Yes, I can definitely do that. Thank you so much for that lovely memory. Take me back to Cape Town, take me back to lavish seafood and ultimate bliss. That's where I want to channel and bring this energy into. So, hello world. I am Elijah. I am a artist, a abolitionist, a lover of Black people, and I believe in a world that is radically soft and liberating for Black queer people. And so that's what I do. That's what I breathe. That's who I am. I am also the executive director of Open Television, which is an Emmy-nominated web platform run by all Black queer people. And that's revolutionary and very exciting. But for me, as a non-binary person, I think about a lot of different things when it comes to my identity. And I actually knew that I was going to be here. So I made a little post on my Instagram that goes into depth. It's my most recent post. So you should just go and read that if you want to educate yourself. A little bit deeper into the non-binary identity. But for me, I think in a simple way that I can sort of define non-binary is sort of like this evolutionary gender, right? It's something that is constantly involved and is changing and growing and adapting, and it's not something that is fixed, right? And so the way that I like to describe non-binary to like my nibbling, which is a non-binary way of describing someone who is a nephew or a niece, look at that, look, we're learning together, is, you know, there's like salt and pepper, right? And salt and pepper are usually like the base for an ingredient of any type of meal, right? You just put the salt and the pepper, and that's your spice, right? And imagine a world that didn't have thyme, right? Or basil or cinnamon or sage. My nephew's, Nibbling's name is Sage. And so that always kind of like hooks them. And I think that that's something that I like to remind all folks, right? Is that gender is this construct that has been designed for a lot of different reasons that we don't need to get into today. But my gender and the way that I define it and the way that I am constantly in conversation with it is something that does not exist on a fixed plane. And so I love using spices because I love cooking. And I also love breaking things down so that toddlers can understand them because the world is complex.
So one of the things that I thought was really cool when we were having our conversation was we were talking about Native Son, you know, and then I've been having this conversation mostly with, wait, what did you call them again? Your
Nibblings.
Nibblings.
Young folks. Yes.
I want to adopt that language because I love that. I've been talking with some of my nibblings, like Delon Burnside is comments and a couple of others, and as well with you about, you know, I'm 53 years old. And so when I created Native Son, my whole thing was Black gay men, right? And then the world has shifted in the last 5 years dramatically in terms of gender identity and pronouns and how people identify. And what I loved about our conversation the other morning was you were like, well, I'm non-binary, but I know I'm sitting here with a beard, and that, you know, it's not easy. It's complicated, and we're kind of learning the different moments and ways and identities and everything you just said so beautifully. I want to be turmeric. Right. But when
it's interesting that you mentioned that, because I think what's really important is that, you know, when we talk about gender and we talk about gender identity, we talk about the ways in which someone feels, right? It's not so much of what they present. And so I'm happy that you brought up like the beard or like the nails, right? Or what I'm wearing or how my hair is styled. And I think that all of those things are, you know, are accessories, right? Yeah. That can be taken on or put or taken off or put on. And so I think, you know, when I look at non-binary and I think about even, you know, the ways in which Native Son is, you know, approaching these really beautiful conversations, you know, a lot of what we know about identity is rooted in this sort of colonized mindset, right? We've been taught it, like, and what we have to remember is that non-binary is not new, right? This is something that actually stems back and is tribal, right? This is actually very Black and very African and very queer in its nature. And I think that it isn't this, you know, homogenized sort of like capital-driven identity marker that's like, let's be free and wear whatever we want and boys and makeup. And like, that is a part of it, right? And that I hold space for that in this container. But I think that we're getting at something larger. And that's why I'm so happy that you were open to having that conversation with me.
Absolutely. And it's so funny because like 2 days later, one of my best friends, her name is Ty Beauchamp, sent me this photo that we went to this Mikado gala, and there I am in my fierce Black skirt. And I was like, oh, look at me.
Right. Right.
But being very like, knowing that I was being radical and pushing against structures when I walked into this room, right?
Right.
But also very confident in it and kind of very liberated in doing so. So that leads me to your film, your feature film. So tell us about this film, and then tell us a little bit, and then we want to watch the trailer, and then I want to talk a little bit more about it.
Yeah, I mean, this film came about to be when we were in South Africa. Oh my goodness, it seems like a lifetime ago. But I finished wrapping actually production on this film exactly a year ago. Our world looked completely different. And it started off as like most of my art and most of my practice is a genuine like conversation around the ways in which I think Black love, and specifically Black queer love, has never or is often not celebrated as something universal, right? I think that the ways in which media portrays love is really quite honestly harmful to people like me, people that also identify as trans, or folks who don't, subscribe to something cis and heteronormative. And I think, I have had to do a lot of work to unlearn that. And I think through the process of working with my creative partner, Tutu Zondo, who is based in South Africa, we were having this just conversation around like writing love letters to all of the people that we have hurt because we didn't know how to be vulnerable and truly accept the ways in which the things that we, didn't know, or, the answers that we didn't have at that moment contributed to, not so much the failure, right, of a relationship, but the transition and the evolution of it. And so I was like, we should make a film, like most things. And they were like, yeah, girl. And I was like, yeah, we should do it in next week. Yeah, like we should make the film next week. And he was like, wow, are you sure? And, we talked about it, and we met with a lot of artists based in South Africa. And what we really came to this general understanding after just sort of workshopping the script and this story was that, there really isn't a lot of opportunities for Black queer people to celebrate their vulnerabilities and truly pursue joy without their traumas being a central point of the story. And I think for me, as a person who is constantly seeking liberation for all Black people, I can't stay making art that's centered in my trauma, or I'm never going to get free, right? I'm never going to be able to also free other people. And so this story is a love letter to all of the people that I have hurt, right? All of the people that have hurt me. And it really is an invitation to reimagine what a world can look like that celebrates Black queer love on a spectrum, right? And not just in, romantic partnerships or familial partnerships or creative partnerships, but just universally accepting and protecting it. So that's what Tando is. I'm super excited about it, and I can't wait for all of the Black people to blow up my phone talking about how excited they are, as they usually do when I make things.
I love that. So we are Native Son is going to partner with Open TV to stream the video on Valentine's Day on your platform. And we're so excited to be a partner with you because, as you and I talked about, I think it's important that we see ourselves at all of our intersections. And we are open and accepting to that. So thank you for creating this. And so let's watch the trailer and then we'll come right back.
Yay!
Russ is a family friend. He's visiting from the States for a little while.
You didn't tell me about no massive staying there. I don't know, I feel like there's like a lot of trust between us. Trust? Girl, you gotta trust yourself. I owe man trash. I'm sure there's quite a few of us that aren't completely trash. But then again, I don't speak for all of us.
So good. What do you want people to walk away thinking, experiencing?
That is a great question. I think what I want people to walk away with is pride and understanding that it is okay to not have all the answers, and to actually celebrate the things that you don't know about yourselves, so that you can find vulnerability, right, and use it as a power and a tool, right, to invite people in, instead of as a weapon to keep people away. And I think for me, what I love so much about this film is that every person that has touched it is Black. Every person involved in it is, queer and African, and has and can speak to this experience of like being hurt, or right, hurting someone because of not having the language, right? Just truly the language. And I think what's beautiful, about this film is, Tando is the Zulu word for love. Specifically, it's a universal love, right? So it's not just the love that you have for a partner or a friend. It is the ways in which you ultimately, right, connect, right? So like, I love an object, right? I love, a person. I love an experience. And for me, I think the conversations that are going to be had in this film around, two characters, one who is non-binary, one who is not non-binary and cis, really get at some conversations that I think a lot of the Black, queer, and gay community have as we are progressing in these conversations around gender, right, and the dynamics that they play.
And as an artist and an activist, it's so important, right, that we move these conversations along and that we don't put limitations, because I've been having a lot of conversations with other Black queer artists about their writing, about their visual arts, about their filmmaking. And to your earlier point, historically, we were not in these constructs. Colonization put us in these constructs.
Right.
Yeah.
So true. So true.
So thank you. I am so grateful for you. I'm so grateful. You and I are going to do a longer IG stories, IG live talk on the platform. But I'm going to tell people about the movie and our collaboration supporting it, because you made the beautiful movie. And that will be on our social channels. But thank you, Elijah. Thank you for just being.
Thank you. I will continue to breathe and seek liberation for us all. Thank you for having me.
I love it. Thank you so much. Love you.
Love you too.
Wow, that was really insightful.
Really
Super
insightful.
insightful.
Lots of learning. I learned the word, what is it, babe? What's the word we just learned? Nibbling.
Nibbling, yes.
We learned the word nibbling just now. Thank you, Emil and Elijah, for that conversation. And please do let us know when you have a longer form conversation on IG Live, so we can
support and push it out any way we possibly can. Again, I am beyond thrilled, Elijah, your encouragement, your strength, the fact that you said, I will continue to breathe and liberate, was beyond everything I needed and wanted in this moment that I did not know that I needed and wanted in this moment. So thank you. Cannot wait to tune in, indulge myself in your beautiful project that you are gifting us.
Yes.
So,
babe, what's next? I think we have, is it the dating game now?
I don't know about a game.
It's a dating game. We're gonna have Lamont White, and he is a matchmaker to the gays.
Love.
So looking forward.
To
Hey,
all the
guys.
queers, there you are for us to support all the queers. I love it.
Hi, Lamont. What's up?
How you doing? What game are we playing, fellas?
We're saying the dating game.
Okay.
The game of dating. We're not playing it.
Okay.
I was like,
we will be having a conversation about just dating as a Black gay man and the challenges. So let's get into it.
I love it.
okay.
First question was yeah, go ahead.
You want to go?
You got
okay, so here's a question, like a question for everyone. Do Black gay men really want relationships?
Oh Lord, great question. So listen, I tell people I am the gay dating coach, right? Because I've been doing gay dating coaching and matchmaking since 2014, and
wow.
So yeah, a long time. You might see some of the gray in my beard. So
you don't look a day over 25.
I just turned 40. So
congrats, man.
Thank you. But so like I meet different guys who are single and they're looking for love. They're looking for relationships. There are already tons of Black gay men who are married, who are purchasing homes together, going traveling. I think in the media, we hear a lot that gay men just want sex. They just want to go to the club. They just want to hook up. And I'm like, yes, some guys do. But there are a bunch more guys who are like, hey, I want to settle down and find love.
Right. Why is it so hard? Why do you think it's so hard for us as Black gay men to, kind of beat back that stigma of us wanting to be in the club and we're promiscuous and you can't trust this one, you can't trust that one? Why is it difficult? Why do we have that?
Well, I think part of it is that that's what the media shows. So sometimes gay men, we fall into that. So we think that is the only way that we can exist. And I think on the other hand, depending on where you live, maybe if you're in a small town like Jackson, Mississippi, or, Idaho, you're like, how do I meet a guy? And you have to go to like the local bar. If they have a gay night, then you have to go to the bar to meet a guy. And that's like pre-apps, so I think that's what most guys have fallen into. But
I agree with you. We have so many friends who are always asking us, hook us up with somebody. I want to be in a relationship. I'm so ready to settle down. I want to get married. I want to have kids. I want to have to build this life. So I agree with you. There's so many people out there who want that experience and that journey. Mm-hmm. But speaking of that experience and that journey, how are Black men finding love?
So COVID has really pushed Black gay men to say, you know what, I need to think outside of the box to actually meet guys. I do dating coaching and matchmaking with guys all over the United States. And depending on where you live, your city might be open. LA is pretty closed.
No, we're open again.
Oh, really?
A little bit.
We're not Atlanta open.
We're not Atlanta open.
We're not Atlanta open. The club is still open till 6 a.m. here. Okay.
Oh, wow. You guys are turning up. Did COVID skip Atlanta?
It's
asking for a friend.
Yeah, it's over. But guys are like, let me do more online dating. Mm-hmm. They're like, we have to do things differently. So one of the things that I really started doing was doing these virtual speed dating events.
Oh, wow.
Which are absolutely amazing, where guys can all over the country get on a virtual speed date with me and meet a guy in Texas, meet a guy in New York, and they do these virtual dates afterwards, with some wine, some questions, and then, somebody might get on a plane.
I love that.
And go meet.
Right. And this is, you're talking about for, people that want long-term relationships and they want something really substantial and not just for a hookup,
Right. And so I pre-screen all my guys when I do matchmaking.
Okay.
I literally tell guys I do old-fashioned matchmaking. I sit down with them face-to-face like this, get a feel for who they are, what they're looking for. You got to make sure they're not catfish, right?
That part.
Right. Part. And then what I do is I arrange their first dates for them. And these guys are like, hey, Lamont, find somebody who's interested in forming a life together, who has some chemistry, some compatibility. those are things that guys are definitely looking for.
Lamont, I love that you have made it, your life mission or one of your life missions to create love and make something substantial for, Black queer men. So, in saying and knowing that this is like one of your things that you're so invested in, what are some tips for 2021 dating? Like, give us some of these tips. So I know when my friends are asking me, like, hook me up with somebody, how to da. So I can have some some really quick rapid fire answers for that.
Right. Besides, we're just gonna hook you up with Lamont and he'll help you.
Right.
Don't send him my way in that way. No. No. I tell guys, dating and matchmaking is not like going to the grocery store where you just pick up the fruit and take it home, right? It has to be some chemistry. Yeah. And I think Byron Jamal hit the nail on the head earlier where it said self-improvement. One of the things that when I got married to my husband, a part of my vows, I told him, I promised to take care of myself.
Ooh, that's a very Destiny's Child cater to you, Bobby. When she said, I make sure I've got my hair done too. Kelly,
right. Like I need to be whole so that I can support us as a relationship. So I think guys often, especially my guys, and I'm 40 now, over 40, they're like, this is who I am. Take me for this.
Right.
No, sir. Polish yourself up. Be your best self so you can find love. Yeah. I think also guys feel like dating it should be easy. That girl is a part-time job, okay? Dating is work.
I'm a full-time.
You're full-time?
Oh, he's full-time. He's a few jobs, actually.
Right, because you have to schedule dates, you have to flirt, you have to pick the phone up and call the guy. And sometimes during dating, guys actually make mistakes, right? It's bound to happen. Miscommunication. And then some guys are like, oh, I'm gone.
Got it.
No, if the guy did something that rubbed you the wrong way, talk about it, get over it, and try to make a good relationship.
Right. I guess that's a great tip. Like sometimes for our first date, our first date that we didn't realize was a date didn't start off that great, but we actually gave it a chance. So I guess a tip is don't always cut everything off so quick. Like, don't be so quick to just be like, that's it, I'm done. I'm not.
Totally.
Right, because we're about the same age, right? So growing up, we didn't have blueprint. We didn't have role models, and Brokeback Mountain doesn't count, right?
It does not.
Right.
Does not count. Like, we didn't have these role models to say, this is how you court another man. This is how you flirt. This is how you argue. This is how you communicate.
Right.
So my job is really key because I teach guys how to do that.
Wow.
And I guess there are some books out there, but they need some fine tuning so that guys.
But also sometimes you want to hear it in a language that you understand, right?
Totally.
You want to hear.
That sounds like, Lamont, you need to write the book, right? You need to fine tune it, and you need to write that book.
It's coming soon. It's
coming.
coming.
There we go. That's what we wanted to hear.
I love a little hint drop. I love that. Plug. Wait, but in your words, what do you feel is holding the Black gay men back from dating?
So the preferences. So I think sometimes we have this ideal of a guy that we want. And I'm like my husband, he's probably as dark as, I don't know, he's black, right? I used to only date light-skinned guys.
Ooh.
That's what I thought. I don't know.
I was like, ooh, what you going through?
I don't know. But I stepped outside of my preference and I was like, oh, this is hot. He's, I like this. And I think sometimes guys won't date feminine guys. They won't date outside of the race. They won't date someone who's a little slimmer or a little thicker. I'm like, experience it and see if you like it. But sometimes
totally.
Focus.
Yeah, you have people. There are a lot of people that we talk to that get caught up in a sexual preference in terms of like.
Please talk
what
about
this person does and that person does. It's like, huh? Are you attracted? Like that's at the base level. That's it, and then you figure the rest out.
Well, listen, I know you all got me last and it's late night. I don't know how much I can, talk about on that subject. So
I think you should just dive in.
okay, so sexual preferences. I always tell guys, like, is it performance or is it desire?
Woo.
You better say that.
Unpack that a little bit. We don't have a lot of time, but just a little bit. Unpack that a little bit.
So if it's performance, so some guys who predominantly like to bottom, if you don't want to be top, is it performance? There are pills you can take, right, to make your penis get hard, and then you can be a top. If it's desire, then let's unpack that desire. Is it some type of internalized homophobia that penetrate a man? Then he's feminine and he's no longer attractive to you. Those are things you need to talk about. So I do a whole class and sessions on these.
When I tell you, I have that conversation. I have that conversation with friends sometimes about that, and how like, oh no, I can't, or oh no, I just not into it. But I also think that what's really interesting about in particular Black, gay, male-facing relationships in that sense, is that a lot of times that we have, like you said, we have been painted this idea of what it's supposed to look like and how it's supposed to be packaged, and you like literally have calculated these things in your head unbeknownst to you, and like you're functioning in that space of that's how it's supposed to be. And you're missing out on these fantastic relationships.
Yeah, and I always say for gay men, we have the beauty of rewriting our stories and our narrative, and that's in all aspects of our lives, whether it's dating to spirituality, just who we are. We don't have to subscribe to what has been taught to us. We can do the work to unlearn some of those things so that we can be more whole individuals, and so that we can look at different guys and experience love in a different way.
Yeah, so I think it goes back to the base at the top of the talk today and to the ending of it all. It's a lot of self-work that we have to do. Self-work, self-love, in order to actually see love, right? You have to love yourself and enjoy yourself in order to actually see it coming towards you. So once you get to that space, I think it's so much easier to recognize love in all its different forms.
Yeah, and I would say, like, if we as gay men, particularly as Black gay men, if we are not intentional, like when I say intentional, like see a therapist, go to the gym, talk to somebody about your finances, talk to a minister or an imam about spirituality. If you're not intentional about those things, then you will be stuck in a place where you cannot continue to be your whole self.
And that is less than happiness. That's less than joy.
Wow. This was really insightful. I just need you to drop that gym one last time. Intentional and then performative, right?
Oh, about the sexual positions?
Yeah.
So it has to do with performance or desire.
Yeah.
When I tell you I'm about to start knocking people out, I'm like, is it about performance or desire?
And they'll look at you.
That person's gonna be like, what are you talking about? But that's really, really great. I'm so grateful to you, and to actually know that there's someone out there who cares about Black gay love and is willing to, take time out of their life and make this part of their mission on the planet to connect us.
To connect
people.
people.
I really, 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 really love that and enjoy that about you. And I'm grateful. I'm just grateful for it because I want to see it. I want to see it.
Celebrate it then. Once we see it, we celebrate it.
Oh, definitely. That's why, like, back in 2014, there was no space where there was someone focused on dating coaching, matchmaking, or even couples counseling in this manner for gay men. So a good friend and I got together and said, hey, let's fill this space. And I've helped, hundreds of guys make connections, even some getting married. So, like, awesome. that is my goal. Yeah.
That is awesome.
I love that.
Well, hats off to you, and thank you for spending time with us tonight and talking with us. How can people reach you?
sure, they can go to betterwaytomeet.com. That's my website. And on Instagram, it's the Gay Dating Coach.
The Gay Dating Coach. All right, Lamont White, the Gay Dating Coach. You heard it there, folks.
Better way to meet.
Reach out to him. He is the guy to know.
Love that.
All right, take
Thank
care,
you guys.
Thank you. Have a
Thank
great
you.
weekend. Happy Valentine.
Happy Valentine's Day, right?
Yeah.
This is a Valentine's Day conversation. Babe, we covered a lot of ground. You want to talk about what our key takeaways were?
I mean, that last thing was beyond major. That performative and dang, see, I forgot.
Oh, good. So you're supposed to write everything.
I
down.
know.
That's why I write
But
it.
no, I think, some of my takeaways tonight it was constantly the circling back to self-love. And I think that if we constantly work on self-love, it's so easy to love someone else and also be able to love the community that we need to constantly uplift and adjust and work on. So that was one of my biggest takeaways is self-love.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I think
What did you learn?
I learned, one of my key takeaways is love is patient. Love is kind.
Learned how, right?
Right. Love is compromise, right? Love is compromise, and love comes in many packages, and love starts with you first. And those are the biggest takeaways from all of the conversations we've had tonight. And the world is really complex, but when you have respect and you respect everyone and you spread respect generously, it's easy.
Yeah, I think it's all love is like a boomerang. You throw it out and then it comes back. So keep working on that's what I've said. Keep working on throwing that boomerang. Like constantly keep working on that.
Totally.
So what advice do you have for Black gay couples and Black gay singles who want to be in relationships?
All right.
What is your advice?
The theme tonight, I think, and what I would echo is, work on yourself first, heal yourself first. You can't attract everything that you deserve unless you are ready for it, and you need to heal yourself first to be able to be that, to be that magnet for, the partner of your dreams.
But I think that works for, people that are already in a relationship and people who are also seeking a relationship.
Totally. And it doesn't stop.
No, it doesn't
we
stop.
Continually work on ourselves.
Yeah. I think my advice for Black gay couples first, I think my advice to that is keep fighting the good fight. Don't let this idea, what I'm about to say, be total pressure, but allow it to be some pressure because we deserve it. We deserve to see it, and you deserve it, and you deserve to see it. So just keep working hard and have these conversations like everybody tonight was talking about, being able to, talk to your partner and try to get through things and just, be patient. And when it comes,
Be flexible and be willing to compromise.
See, this is the perfect example of a relationship. You see how he just interrupted me? See, and I'm being flexible, and I'm being patient, and I'm allowing him to just be. Also, for Black gay singles who want to be in a relationship, some of my biggest advice is ask yourself why you want to be in a relationship. First, ask yourself why you want to be in a relationship, and if you can answer that very quickly without having to think about it, then you are the best starting point to finding the perfect person because you know exactly what you need and exactly what you want. And that's kind of my advice. So
It wraps it up. That's good.
what are you doing for me for Valentine's Day? What are some plans that you have? He's gonna put me right on the spot. We are going skiing. Yes, we are doing a very we're gonna actually go skiing. We're gonna take some skiing lessons. Adair wants me to go to the cold, and I'm really not about that life, but that's what we're gonna be doing.
Yes. Hi, Emil. We can't hear you.
You're on mute.
First of all, Mercury retrograde sucks.
Oh,
Totally.
it's the worst. You saw it happen. I had to jump out of frame.
Right. And then apparently I'm a robot and freezing. Listen, my moleskin notebook though.
Ooh, yes.
Now, because I was sitting
Look
taking
at
notes.
this. Look at this.
Okay. So thank you both so much, because what I love is that you said yes, you showed up authentically, and I just remember during quarantine we did that conversation, and one of the things that I really held from that conversation with both of you was that we said we wake up every day and we choose to love each other.
Every day, every single day, no matter what, no matter how much we despise each other in whatever moment, because that happens.
It's real.
It's real.
But the choice is yours, right? You get
The
to
choice
choose.
is yours. And
And
I
I
wouldn't
think-
choose it anything else besides what
Everything that I heard tonight layered on top of that making that choice, right? The choice to love yourself, the choice to love your partner through whatever, and you work through it. I'm just grateful for you both. I thank you for showing up.
we thank you.
Y'all are.
Thank you.
This-
We thank you. And it's a pleasure and an honor to be a part of this community. We feel supported, we feel seen, and we just do our best.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean,
we do our
again,
best.
I say hats off to you over and over and over again, because you didn't have to decide to, push this agenda and make sure it's front and center and be loud and decide to wrap us in love and let people know that you deserve it. So we are grateful for you in ways that we probably can't even formulate a sentence to, but the most magical thing somebody can ever say to someone is thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we're going to continue to give you your flowers every single chance we get. That is it.
Welcome.
This is very-
Wow.
Well, thank you both. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your wisdom, and thank you for just diving in. You all were the best hosts
Totally.
ever. I'm like,
Thank you so much. Thank you for introducing us to so many amazing people too. Like
Totally.
opening that up, and like that's what the community is about for Native Son. It's like introducing everyone. This is perfect.
Absolutely.
well, happy Valentine's Day early.
Valentine's Day, yes.
I'm gonna be cold, but it's fine.
but now y'all got all these lessons and you can shower together. So
There
hey.
we go. And now we're gonna be able to shower together.
Well, listen, you better remember you said that.
I love it. Thank you, Jason.
Yes, always.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Take care.
So-
Bye.
Bye,
I
you guys.
love it. Thank you. Oh my gosh, that was like the best Thursday night of 2021 for real. So before we close out, I just want to do some church announcements for the people. Our hashtag tonight, if you're reposting, I saw a lot of people posting videos and so forth. So grateful, is hashtag Native Son Black Gay Love. Again, if you want to sign up for the newsletter, it is at nativeson.us. And if you would like to donate or join the James Baldwin Society to advance the work like this that we are doing with Native Son, it is so important that we create these spaces. It's also at www.nativeson.us. And I just want to thank you all for showing up. Follow us at Native Son now on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn, because we're about to go popping on LinkedIn, so watch out. Instagram is our biggest platform. I don't know if you all know this, but in 2020, we started in March, almost a year ago, at 13,000, and we are now at 35,000. Like, that is an incredible statement of who we are as a community, and that we show up for each other, and that we show up to be a part of fellowship, community, and love. So thank you all. Amazing. But then we have some upcoming events. So we will be showing Thondo. We're partnering with OTV and Open TV with Elijah, his first feature film, so excited, which will be on Valentine's Day. You'll see it on our social channels. We'll be promoting that. We're doing a Mr. Soul screening on the 17th of February with the Teaneck Film Festival, and Daniel Calderon will be hosting a conversation afterward with Mr. Ellis Houseworth's niece, who did the film, which the soundtrack just got an early nomination for an Oscar, so we're psyched about that. And then on the 28th of February, we'll be hosting a Native Son conversation with the Martin Luther King Memorial Library in Washington, D.C. about James Baldwin's legacy. And that is with George M. Johnson, Darnell L. Moore, and Robert Jones Jr. and myself. And then moving into March, we are having our HRC Community Voices and Native Son conversation to talk about HIV and AIDS in the Black community in the age of COVID. And we're leaning into a mental health space because we believe that that is super important. That drives us into March, where we will be hosting our first ever wellness forum. And that is on March 26th, where we will be talking about the mind, body, and spirit of Black gay men and all of our intersectionalities and our body positivity, our health, our wellness, our fitness. And mental health is paramount in these times. Check on your strong friends, check on your friends, check on your family. These are tough times. I want to thank everybody. If you want to share your Black gay love stories, because we're always looking for engagements and weddings and anniversaries, please share your stories with us at info@nativeson.us. And then I just want to give special thanks tonight. This is why I love the Black gay man, and this is why I love Native Son, because my cup is full. And this community gives us that. And so I want to thank Jason and Adair. I want to thank Byron. I want to thank Lamont. I want to thank George and Rudolph. I want to thank Jay Maurice and Kenneth and the kids, because the kids stole the show. And Elijah, my love, thank you. Thank you for pushing us. Reginald Nash, our social media manager, Yvonne McNair, and Alex from Captivate Marketing Group. I couldn't do without you. Mercury Retrograde, I will see you soon because you tried it. But thank you all for showing up. Thank you all for all your texts and your DMs and your comments. Love yourself first, and then just celebrate Black gay love in whatever form that looks like for you. But don't be afraid to say yes. I love you. Happy Valentine's Day early, and be safe, be well, be vigilant. Probably take the vaccine. I love you.
Sunday afternoons, Christmas films in July with you, the canon of Baltimore tales, our crafty looks when there's nothing to wear. Maybe it's the blessing of my 30s. I'm spending less time worrying and more time recounting the love. More time recounting the love. So thankful for my friends. I'm thankful for the love I share with my friends. I'm thankful for the love I share with my friends. My friends. reminiscing of my 30s. I'm spending less time worrying and more time recounting the love. And I'm so thankful